afternoon, folks. Robert Chappell here, Executive Editor, Madison365, with your daily update for Thursday, December 2nd. I just took a glance at the COVID numbers today, and I said some things I regret. There were some curse words in there. We're at the time now where we're seeing the effects of Thanksgiving. Right, folks were getting together the weekend before Thanksgiving, get together on Thursday, a week ago today. It's a little bit early, frankly, to be seeing this, but it's possible to be that this is partly the effect of Thanksgiving. But I would think we're going to see more in the next 3 or 4 days, 3 or 5 days. You think about a week and a half, 2 weeks after Thanksgiving was when you'd really see the effects. But if it's not Thanksgiving, I don't know what this is. But we have more than 5,000 cases for the first time this year. Although the Wisconsin Hospital Association has data that's slightly different than the state. They're saying we have 5,169 today, but we also had 5,096 on Monday. But that's not data that is being reported today. That's being retroactively applied to Monday. But the state's reporting 5,097 new confirmed cases just today. That's the first time that by the state's measure, we're over 5,000 this year. That puts our 7-day average back above 3,000, just barely 3,015. That's not the highest it's been this year. Back on the 19th of November, it was 3,100. On the 22nd, it was almost 3,200. So the 7-day average is not the worst that it's been. But don't forget that 7-day average includes the whole Thanksgiving weekend when there was not much data processing going on. So lots of new cases. That's not good. The even worse news, 2 more pieces of bad news, 3 more pieces of very bad news. Okay, the positive test rate. Yesterday we reported it was 12.2% of all cases, of all tests in the past 7 days came back positive. That number from yesterday has been revised upward now to 12.6. So they're saying after all the data from today was entered in, yesterday's 7-day average of new cases of positive tests was 12.6%. Today, 13.4. The last time we were over 13% was November 20th, 2020, more than a year ago. So last year, November 12th, 2020, we peaked at 17.5%. I don't know if we're going to get there. This is going up very steeply and not slowing down. So we will have to wait and see if that comes back down. Another piece of bad news is 20. I remember I said we were going to get into the 20s, and for daily death toll, we are now at 20. 39 new confirmed deaths today, 31 yesterday, 41 the day before that. So over 100 deaths in the past 3 days reported. Those deaths took place 6 to 8 weeks ago, probably. Right. So we're just now seeing the effects of the increase in cases that we saw like in October. Right. So 6 to 8 weeks from now, we will see the effects of the current surge in new cases. So if that, if the numbers track the way they have been, we'll be in the 30s in January in terms of deaths reported per day. We're now at 9,093 total confirmed deaths and 1,002 total probable deaths. So in all likelihood, we're over 10,000 deaths now for the state of Wisconsin. Hospitalizations also up again today, 1,446 current hospitalizations. That's up 40 since yesterday. It's up 123 from a week ago. 409 of those are in the ICU. That's about the same as yesterday. It's 1 more. one sliver of good news is there are slightly more ICU beds available total. About 4% of all the ICU beds in the state are currently available. It was 3% yesterday. Still a very small number, but it went from 40 to 53 beds available in the entirety of the state. 53 ICU beds available in the entire state of Wisconsin, and that's actually an improvement since yesterday. Which means that the COVID ICU population is up to 409, which means that like at least 12 other people who were in ICUs for other reasons were moved out of those ICUs and not replaced. Right now, there's only 16 intermediate care beds available and only 204 medical and surgical beds available. In terms of percentage, I say this a lot. I was an English major. I don't do math in my head. But yeah, only about 3% of the medical and surgical beds are currently available. That's not good at all. So not only hospital facility capacity, but also staff capacity is really going to be stretched pretty thin at the moment. So none of that is good news. I wish I had better news for you. We'll see. We'll see what we get tomorrow. I would anticipate it being worse again tomorrow. I would anticipate. We get variant reports every Thursday, so I can honestly haven't looked at it today because I know what it's going to be. It's going to be 100% Delta, and I was right. It's 100% Delta. Of course, when we get this Thursday report, it's actually looking at data from about 2.5-3 weeks ago. So that week was the 387 cases were sequenced, 99.25% of them were Delta. So I would expect to start seeing Omicron here in a few weeks. It's possible that this current surge in these past just few days is Omicron related. It's also possible it's not. It's also possible it's just Thanksgiving and it's still Delta just burning through the entire state. Now, vaccinations have continued slowly but surely, which is, that's decent news. We're at 56.1% fully vaccinated. 59% have at least one shot. We are on the first, which we have data for yesterday. We don't have the full data yet for today. But just yesterday, the state of Wisconsin, providers in the state, administered 21,500 total doses. That includes first doses, second doses, and boosters. That includes doses for adults and doses for kids. The 7-day average is 14,000 at this point, but that's because like 4 of those 7 days are Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that weekend, where this, who's going to get a vaccine on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's just, so those couple of days, Thanksgiving and the day after, there's on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, there was 5,000 doses given across the state. On the Saturday after Thanksgiving, there were 8,000. So, that's just slow day brings the average down. So I would expect that 7-day average to go back up starting tomorrow. And then by Monday, it'll be back to in the 20,000 range, which means that within the next, month or so, we'll be pushing 65-70% vaccinated if that continues. If we keep getting kids vaccinated, a bunch of kids, a lot of kids, tens of thousands of children at this point have gotten their first dose, and they'll start to get that second dose now in December. So that, to me, I believe that to be the one factor that we have this year that we didn't have last year that could actually stem the tide of this winter surge. So if you haven't got that vaccine, get it. If it's just inconvenient for you, find a way around it. Because there's a lot of folks who just can't do it, who can't take that day off of work to deal with the side effects, who can't take time off work to take their kids to an appointment, who don't have easy access, who maybe have language barriers, who don't understand that you don't need health insurance, right? There's information barriers. There's language barriers. We've talked about this for a long time. But if for you it's just inconvenient, just do it so that we can help protect those folks for whom it's really, really difficult. All right, so we're going to take a short pause, and then I have some better news for you. I was at the announcement, a press conference today at the Center for Black Excellence and Culture here in Madison. Very exciting stuff. Got some very nice pictures to show you right after this word. So don't go away. This is good news. You like this. Right after this word from Madison College.
Apply yourself at Madison College. For you, life is all about creating a brighter future. And at Madison College, we can't wait to see what you do. Visit discovermadisoncollege.com and apply yourself today.
All right, so I went to the south side of Madison today. The Center for Black Excellence and Culture was announced a few months ago that Alex G. Was leading this effort to build this the center on the south side, right next to his church, the Fountain of Life Baptist Church, right on Badger Road, right Badger Road at the Beltline. And today they had basically unveiled like that they bought this land, 6 acres, and that they had like kind of one artist rendering of what the outside would look like. And today they made an announcement, and at the press conference, Alex G. was there, and I'm experimenting with my. Let's do it this way. Alex G. was there. That's him there. A lot of folks were there. They announced that they have raised $5 million. The goal is $36 million. It's going to cost $36 million to build, but that'll mean it's debt free. That'll be to build it free and clear. But they announced today a $2 million donation from Summit Credit Union, along with $500,000 from the Pleasant T. Rowland Foundation, $500,000 from the W. Jerome Fauci Foundation, $810,000 from Dane County, $250,000 from the city of Madison, and I just want to make sure I give credit to everybody who's pitched in here. $100,000 from an anonymous donor, $100,000 from M3, $100,000 from UW Health, $125,000 from Marla and Larry Frank. And then Representative Mark Pocan was able to get $1 million earmark in federal money, but that needs to be approved by the Congress yet. That's part of the next spending package. So this is going to open in 2023, almost exactly 10 years after the Race to Equity report, which you might remember. Everybody in Madison was just shocked that there was racism in Madison based on this data and this report. Alex G. was one of the first people to really forcefully respond to that. And so almost exactly 10 years later, he's going to open the center. The center will have, I'm going to show you some pictures of the center here quick. It's designed by Rafiq Assad, Black architect with JL. He's one of the vice presidents at JLA Architects. That's what it'll look like from the Beltline. That's what it's the inside. So the atrium there on the inside. There'll be an event space. Theater, 2 theaters actually. One seats 250, one seats 100. There's also going to be a fitness center, art studio and gallery space, a recording studio. Just a ton of stuff. Spaces for youth and seniors. The Nehemiah Center is going to have its office there. That's the other organization that Alex G. heads up. There's going to be a co-working space, 220 space parking garage, which would be nice. If you go to Madison365.org right now, this is the main feature story on the front page. Just click through that, and there's a whole bunch of more renderings and images and stuff, as well as some more details about the space and what Alex G. has to say about it. So that was, just pretty good news, kind of exciting. And for Summit Credit Union to come in with the largest donation to anybody by far in the history of Summit Credit Union. So good on them. But it's good news. It's exciting. It'll be fun. I'm going to look forward to watching that get built. We'll continue to cover it as they raise money. $36 million is a big number. but every $10, $20 counts. So if you want to make a donation to the Black Center, the Center for Black Excellence in Culture, you can go on the website on Madison365.org. Scroll down to the bottom of that story. There's a link where you can make a donation. Speaking of donations, Madison365 is also a nonprofit organization, right? We are nonprofit media. Still kind of a new concept, but it's been around a while, and it's Voice of San Diego was one of the first, and you had Texas Tribune, and then Tucson Sentinel, and a few others, and then we jumped in 2015 with the understanding that we're doing news for communities of color. Sometimes it's controversial, it's difficult. We're basically self-selecting to have a smaller audience. So advertising was never going to pay all the bills. Like, we have wonderful advertisers. We have wonderful relationships with advertisers and supporters and sponsors and underwriters and foundation grants also. But that's advertising, when you're concerned about how many eyeballs you get and how many clicks. If you're chasing clicks for advertisers, like, that's just not what we wanted to do. So we went the nonprofit route. And we also decided 6 years ago when we launched that we would never charge for access, because our audience, our community, the specific people we were trying to serve with professional journalism, we know from the Race Equity Report, are also much more likely to live in poverty or have very little wealth, or just not have the means to subscribe to a newspaper or a news site. So we just said, we're not going to do that. We're not going to charge any money. And that's turned out to be the right decision, because when COVID happened, we decided we were going to go all in on covering COVID and make sure that you and people of color who were disproportionately affected were fully informed. And it boggles my mind that some news outlets would be like, here's the COVID information. Here's how you keep your family safe. Now pay us $5 a month, or you can't have it, right? Most newspapers, most news organizations put their COVID information outside the paywall. But still, there's a lot of information you need in terms of your local elections, systemic racism. Not only that, but like happy stories too about the Center for Black Excellence in Culture. I'm not going to make you pay to read that story, because it's a good story. It's good news, right? That's the kind of news you want. That's the kind of news you need to build this community. And so I'm not going to make you pay to do that. So what's the flip side of that? Flip side of that is it's not free for us. Like, this is my profession, right? I was being paid to be there. I get paid to do this show. We write checks to professional journalists to bring you the news every day. Like, we don't have really much in the way of overhead. We don't pay for an office, anything like that. But we do pay for good professional journalism, and it's not free. So if we're giving it to you for free, but we're paying for it, somebody's got to make up that difference, right? So we have advertisers, we have sponsors, we have foundation grants, but we need you to fill in the gap. So what we've launched this year is the FAM. You can be a member of our FAM. You can be a member of the FAM for $5 a month. Let's say we did have to charge you $5 a month. Could you do it? Would you do it? If you would, join the FAM. That's your way to keep it free for everybody else who couldn't afford $5 a month. Right? For a lot of us, $5 a month is doable. For a lot of people, it's not. If it's doable for you, you can do it. Voluntarily join the FAM. You get some stuff. You get a sticker for your laptop. You get early announcements. You get some other stuff. But it's important that we have your buy-in, that we have your support. And here's the best part. It is news match season right now, which means the news match program through the Institute for Nonprofit News will match every dollar you give us for the whole year. So if you give us $100 right now, that's great. We'll take your donation. We'll take your $100. We'll take your $50. We'll take your $10. And Newsmatch will give us the same amount that you did. So you give us $10, they give us 10. You give us 100, they give us 100, and your impact is doubled as long as you do it before the end of the year. But here's the fun part: if you sign up for a full year and you do it $5 a year, or $5 a month, rather, $5 a month, you're committing to $60 over the course of a year, right? $5 a month, maybe you won't miss that, but we get $60 out of that. Great. But Newsmatch gives us another $60 right now. You go in for 10 a month, they give us 120. You go in for $25 a month, they write us a check for $300. No questions asked. It's that simple. So right now is the time to do it. If you want to support nonprofit, community-focused media, right now, every dollar you give us is doubled. Like, your impact on our work is doubled right now. So do it. Don't wait. Just get it done. It's a couple of clicks. You got to make an account with, or whatever. But it's pretty simple to do. You can use your Google account. You can use your Facebook account to log in, plug in your info, and then every time you watch the show, you can be like, hey, I'm helping pay for this. Every time you see one of our news feature stories float through your feed, you can feel like you're part of it and you take some ownership in it, right? Okay, that's my pitch for today. Have a wonderful evening. I hope to bring you better COVID news tomorrow. We'll see. But until then, have a wonderful evening. Stay warm. We'll see you soon.
This is 365 Media.